Okay, guys, here we go. Before I get started, let me just say that I am here alone. My bestie Tamika is not available to do this recording with me, so I don't have anybody to say, "Did you see what I saw?" I don't have that. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to improvise. I'm going to say, "Did you see what I saw?" to you guys. Surely I was not the only one that saw what I saw. Oh, let me introduce myself because some of y'all don't know who I am. I am Doris, and as I said, my partner in crime, Tamika, is not here with us today. So I'm going to have to just try to carry this off by myself. The show might be a little bit shorter than usual, but let's go. We're going to be talking about the last two episodes, I believe, were 7 and 8 or 6 and 7. Can't remember, but anyway, let's just move on. I'm going off notes, and sometimes I'm just going off the hip. I'm going to start off by saying what I say every time. Where's Robin? Still no Robin. Now I see that they're talking about him a little bit more each time, just mentioning him. Like for instance, Gary, I believe he was asking Hayden if Robin was in the office. Just why? Why did they even put that in there? I still think that that's like the little map that they're laying out for us to be looking for Robin. We'll see, because this season is actually almost over. So maybe he'll make a return at the very end. But thinking about it, what role was he playing last year other than trying to be certain that he's able to maintain the company? So let's move ahead. I'm gonna start out with Danny. Danny said yes to the date with Preston. That's just great. That's great. I am looking forward to, and I hope I'm not moving too fast, but I'm looking forward to her and Preston getting on the right road. They really have no foreseen obstacles. The young lady that he was dating was fine with him going to stay with her in crisis, and while she was at the hotel, she was fine with that. So she doesn't count. We can just forget about her. Now the other person is the guy that she brought home, and they both kind of like roughed him up that night. They need to just go ahead and write that out, because it really, I think it served its purpose. Its purpose, I believe, was to draw her to Preston and to get him back there and pretty much make the attachment stronger, or at least make her feel like she's missing out on this. She's missing out on this because she could have lost it when she was messing around with this crazy guy. And she could have lost Preston if he had chosen to be with that other woman. So, I don't know. I see what you're doing, Tyler. So happy for Danny. I hope that she just gets some stability, because she deserves that. I like Danny. Moving forward, Calvin. Calvin is the best support system ever. When you consider that him and Sabrina are not together, they have never been together, and I don't know that they ever will. I think they would make a great team. I think they would, because he's a support system. He's right there. He was going to give up his last to help her get out of jail, and then he's a good friend. He's a good friend to Maurice. So I don't know. I hope that they can get somewhere, that they can go someplace other than where they are once this bank thing has been rectified. Now, Maurice, I have to maintain that he needs an attitude adjustment. He looks like he might be coming down a little, just a little, but just the way he reacts to things. Now, I completely understand why Sabrina went to Q and just tried to reach out to him, because she's at a desperate place, and I get it. Goodness, I get it. She's in a vulnerable situation, and she needs help. Now, I believe that she reached him But I don't know what his reaction might really, really be. Okay, we saw him melting a little bit sitting in that wheelchair. But really and truly, how is this going to come out? Now, the season is almost over. So this bank robbery thing, they're going to have to finally just kind of like put that to bed. I don't see this going on for 2 seasons. I don't see it. Let's hope that you don't see it. Let's hope that Tyler doesn't see it. But I think that they should go ahead, and I think that Q is going to go ahead and give himself up. I think so. I think he, underneath all that fluff and stuff, I think that he does have a heart. And if he forgot he had one, I think Sabrina kind of pulled at the string. So we will see what happens with that. So moving on, let's talk about Aaron. Aaron needs to go. He needs to go. Karen is showing him right in his face that she's not interested. And because he was talking to somebody else, that's making what she's doing all the more easier. Because now she can rest on it. Oh, he was talking to somebody else. He wasn't serious about me anyway. So she can do what she's trying to do with somewhat of a clear conscience as far as Aaron is concerned. Now, Aaron's at this restaurant. Pam overhears him setting up a meeting, I'm assuming, with the new former lover, the lady who lost it on him at the hair salon. So Pam is just trying to stay around and see what's going on. They need to go ahead and give her a man. I know she has one or two, but she is just all up in the business. I'm not mad at Aaron if he backtracks and goes where he came from. But I do believe that if he does that, he needs to do that. Because he, to me, is, I hate to say this, but he, to me, is like a crime of opportunity. He's there, therefore he will be used. He's there. He's there. He's made himself available. We know that you're there. And so you're always going to, I don't know, act as a floor mat. I hate to be so cruel, but that's pretty much what she's using him as. Karen. That's what she's using him as. He's there and available. So, and I'm not speaking from my own personal experience, but for Karen, that's good enough. I need somebody to rub my feet. I need somebody to bring me soup, and so on and so forth. So I hope that he does go on ahead and do what he's going to do. We know it's not going to last, but just let him go ahead. Now, after Karen finishes bumping her head, then I think that Aaron will then again become relevant, but I'll get back to that. Hayden and his wife. Yes, I said it, wife. He went on and he married this gold digger, this lady for hire. He went on and he married her. Now, they were supposed to go to Miami. How did they end up in Vegas? They are nowhere near each other, but they ended up in Vegas. They got married. He comes back. He tells Gary. And Gary's just like, okay, what did you do? Now, although we know that Gary has done his share of stuff, when he's not in his own little private storm, he's a pretty rational person. That's only when he's not in his own private storm. And so he was able to say, listen, what are you doing? Did you vet her? Investigate. Did you look into who she is? You just jumped out here and you married this woman. And if you don't get an annulment, I believe after 30 days, then she's entitled to, I believe, half. So Fatima hired this woman, or sent this woman to, I guess, distract him. And that was her job. She had this one job, but she has turned it into a career by going off and marrying this man and thinking that she did something good. But see, she has her own agenda because she knows that he's easy. She don't need Fatima no more. Fatima walked out the room on the whole situation because this is not what she wanted. But it's done, and it doesn't matter if she takes all of Hayden's money because it has nothing to do with anybody anyway, just her and him. So this dum-dum, he's not going to annul this marriage. I don't believe he will. He's going to stay in it and I guess suffer consequences. Maybe it'll come out that she never was interested in him and that she was hired to do what it is that she did, and maybe that will be the thing that pushes him away. But at this point, he thinks that he has found a good thing. Now, Gary comes into the office, into Hayden's office, to say, listen, did you take my advice and get those papers, to annul this marriage? And of course, he couldn't tell him that he hadn't, because this girl, what was her name, Tamir, she was under the desk. Okay, I'm not going to say more, but she was under the desk while Hayden was sitting at the desk. It's so hard to keep it clean. And Gary was right there, and he soon realized what was going on. So, of course, he was like, okay, let me leave the room. But anyway, so I don't think that Hayden is going to... I don't think he's going to leave that girl. He's whipped, as they say. His nose is wide open. Okay. And keeping with Gary. What is he doing? Now, Andy already just punched him in the face mentally and emotionally when she told him that the only thing he was good for was sex, and that he wasn't even the best at it. Like, he's good at it, but he's not the best. So that kind of crushed his spirit a little bit. I believe that was in the episode prior to this one. He seemed like his face might have been busted at first, but then he got cocky. And he came back, and now he's playing a psychological game with Andy by telling her the same, that you're not the best that I've ever had. It's a game. I don't believe it. It's a game, and she fell for it. So now she's turned on by it, and I believe that it's going to go a step further. Now, let me go back. Last episode, prior to this one, I believe a client came in to talk to Andy, and she had Fatima in the room with her, and this lady was spelling it all out about how the mistakes that she made in her relationship. Okay, so there we have Andy and Fatima having to listen to this. Fatima had already just had a meltdown. So the things that this lady was saying was pretty much acting as a confirmation for what Andy and Fatima are going through. I'll get back to that as far as Fatima goes. But it hit home for the both of them. Andy was more likely to ignore it. But because Fatima is such a vulnerable state, it was hard for her to ignore it. Okay, let's get into the biggest storyline of the season, which is Karen, Zac, and Fatima. Karen had lost her mind. She refuses to tell anyone who the father of this child is. And at this point, I had said something prior that neither one of them was the fathers, Zac and Aaron. But then Tamika sends me this screenshot of, I want to say his name is Rico. I could be wrong. I should have written it down. But she sent me a screenshot of Karen speaking to this man in the early episodes. And so I did a little research, and this guy, I hate to say his name is Rico because I'm not even sure. It turns out that they had been messing around with each other when it was convenient for both of them. When it was like, he was kind of like her go-to. And so it kind of gave off the air that he could possibly be the father. I don't know what Tyler is doing. I could see how he's trying to work that into this, but he could also just be doing that to throw us off the trail. Do I believe that Zac is the father? He can't be. The reason why I say he can't be is because it's too obvious that he is. It wouldn't make sense. It's too obvious that he is the father, so he is not the father. She's just stepping all over Aaron. And Aaron is putting himself in that position because he too is making himself available. He's making himself available. So, I don't know. So, anyway, Karen has her hopes set high pertaining to her relationship, and that's in air quotes, even though you can't see me, with Zac. She's so hopeful. She's hopeful. And this is how women end up being side chicks. Let me just go here. This is how they end up being side chicks. She knows that he's in a relationship with Fatima. I don't care what his reaction was when he thought that Karen was dead. He's still in a relationship with Fatima, and that's where it's going to be. Okay. Now here comes Karen offering to give it to him with a double coupon because she wants to build this family. Still not saying who the father is. Zac he has that in his mind that she does not know who the father is, so he hasn't gone that far. But he didn't fell off. He didn't fell off because what gives you the right? You've already offered to help her rebuild her business. She could have got the money from Andy, but she chose to accept his help because that's her way back in. Do I feel like he should have offered her help? Maybe he should have offered her some resources, some referrals to where she could possibly get a loan or something. Maybe he shouldn't have did nothing but hugged her and said, "I'm happy you're still here." But the whole situation has pulled at his heartstrings, so now he's just being too expressive. He's told her that he loves her. He had already told Fatima at the beginning of the relationship that it's still the beginning of the relationship, y'all. It's just moving slow. But anyway, he already told her that he still loves Karen. Now, that's fine. But I don't think he need to keep saying it. And that's what he's doing. He keeps saying it. And that's not making her feel good. So at this point, Karen feels that she has the upper hand and standing on the outside looking in a way she does. Because Zac's whole demeanor has changed. He has gotten cocky. He's gotten cocky. He told her, "I love you." This is him talking to Fatima, my words. "I love you. I keep telling you this. We're together. I told her that we're together. I'm not going to beg you." What? That's when the tables turn. That's when things get flipped and switched. That to me, it was a trigger, y'all. It was a trigger because I kind of been through something like that. But that to me is like, okay, I've given you all I got. This is it. Take it or leave it. He's not in a position to say that. But because Fatima is so vulnerable right now, that's just going to hurt her a little bit more. Like, well, dang. He already being soft towards this woman. She saw Karen kiss him. Zac was receptive. I mean, he wasn't supposed to snatch back, but he's made himself accessible to Karen. And that's all she needed was a way in. So now Karen thinks she's doing something. She's been bold enough to say, "Listen, come over to my place and let's do what we do." Zac didn't shoot her down like he should have. All he was saying was, "I'm with Fatima." What does that mean? Come on now. What does that mean for a woman that's persistent? A woman that's possibly having your child? Nothing. Because she's already showing you that she'll stop at nothing to get you, because she won't even come out and say who the father is. That she's holding that little key, that little bone that she's dangling, and he's right there acting like a dum-dum. But anyway, so Fatima, my heart goes out to her. Fatima is she's a catch. And I say that because she's receptive, she's available, she's helpful. She's going to do what a woman does when she loves a man. She's going to listen to what he says, hear what he says and what he's going through, and she's going to jump in there. She's going to help. And she's not going to, she'll tell you it's going to be all right, and she'll make it all right. And that's the type of person that Fatima is, and that is the characteristics of a good mate. So she's giving him that. And at first he was very appreciative of it, but now he's kind of like, he's not going to say it, but it's the things that he says that makes me know that's where he is with things. But anyway, so she's really hurt. I was broken when I saw her cry, because she really was hurt. She took the ring off. She was really hurt. She could have went in a total different direction than what she did. She could have approached Karen with this and took it from there, but she didn't. She still gave him the paperwork to try to get custody of his son. She's still doing what she does, and that's fine. But at this point, from here on out, she needs to stop doing that, because now she's making herself too available while he's doing what he's doing. So I'm happy to wait a minute, she made a comment. She made a comment to Andy. She said something to the tune of, she's not the only one that can't live without a man, or something along those lines. You get what I'm saying? This was in the last episode, but she said something along those lines. Andy didn't respond, because Gary was, of course, he was there. He was entering, and this was what made Fatima say this. So I'm gonna move a little bit over what's happening right now. It's going to turn right back around, and you'll see what I'm saying. So I'm going to put it out there now. The story is lining up to the point where, because as you see, Andy is being very supportive of Fatima. But what's going to end up happening, and I know this for a fact, I'm not just talking, but it's lining its way up. Karen is going to ask her to make a choice between her and Fatima, which is very, very unfair. But Andy not going nowhere from Fatima, because they do have a different type of relationship, and Karen just can't handle that. I understand how Karen feels, but I also understand why Andy is so drawn to Fatima. And I've said this before, Andy can be Andy when she's talking to Fatima. She can't really be that way with the girls, because there's too much judgment there. Fatima's not going to judge. She's not that type of person. And so that's the difference between her relationship with Fatima and her relationship with Karen. So you guys watch out, because she's going to force her to make a choice. Now, I don't know how Andy is going to handle this. I'm pretty sure she's going to say, listen, I'm not leaving Fatima behind, and she shouldn't. Fatima is a huge support system for Andy. I have to say that. Now, let me turn it up just a little bit. I'm going to cross right over into Fatima, because it's going to be coming back out, I believe, on the 24th of August. I don't want to give too much away, but let me say this, and I keep saying this, and I kept telling Tamika, Fatima deserves to cheat. She needs a pass, because she's going through way too much. We got the other baby's mother. We got Karen in this situation. We've had to deal with Zac and the girl next door, Deja. It's a lot. He slept with the other girl, her friend, Melinda. Just a whole lot. That's a lot. Especially early in a relationship, because y'all got to remember, I got to remember, but this relationship is new. It's new. So he's done all that. Now, she had Paul checking for her last season on Fatima. Paul was checking for her. Paul didn't care that she had Zac. Paul was just trying to be that man. She wouldn't give him the time of day. She wasn't rude to him, not at all. But her focus was on her relationship. And I kept saying, Tamika, she deserves it. She need to call Paul. Call Paul. So I noticed in the previews for the next season of Fatima, okay, she's going to finally do it. She's going to finally call Paul, y'all. She's going to call Paul. And I think that based on the previews, that she's going to go that way with Paul. And Tamika and I both agree, but that she's not going to go through with it. I'm glad that she even considered it and stepping up to it, because she deserves that. And Zac, he needs to feel that, because now he's getting too big for his britches. He's throwing stuff, slamming stuff, and this is in the next season of Zatima. And yes, I'm putting it out there. We don't talk about Zatima, but it's a tie. They're connected sisters in Zatima, but you all know that. But she's gonna put herself out there. She deserves that, and I'm really hoping that Zac finds out that Zatima is not a superwoman. She has feelings too. And to see her break down like she did, I really wish, and some of you all may disagree, I wish that she would break down to him and let him know instead of being so in control in front of him. She's not in control when she's with, Andy. She's let it out. But with Zac so far, she hasn't done that. She's still living up to her word. She's still doing the things for him that she said that she would. Now, Karen told Zac she was going to leave the door open for him to come over because she had invited him over, as I said, for them to do what they do. He said that he wouldn't come, but he did tell Fatima about the conversation. So Fatima shows up. Now all the girls are there. Andy, Sabrina, and Danny, they're all there. Fatima shows up. So I believe that Andy says something like this is her house or whatever, but am I mad at Fatima? Not at all. Not at all. I mean, you're not supposed to go over to another woman's house. I'll be honest with you. I've done that. I didn't go in her house, but close enough. Close enough. But anyway, so she shows up, and I believe this is going to be, this is next episode, and she's going to confront Karen, and I'm glad that she is, because Karen needs to go have several seats, and I believe that Fatima is the one to pull out the first chair. Now, I still haven't seen the scene where I still haven't seen where Zac called Karen's mother. They showed that in the clip, and I said this before. They showed in the clip that he had called Lisa, Karen's mother. He called her on the phone. Still hasn't come on. I've been watching. Okay, still hasn't come on, so I don't know what's going on with that. I hope I didn't leave anything out. And I really think I did pretty good flying solo. So I think that those are the most important parts. I'm going to be real mad if I missed out on something. But I'm going to let you guys go. We will return next week. Bye-bye.